Hey, back again. So, today's rant topic. So these are regular life. This is a regular life rant. Um, this is topic, and this is gonna be the vein, the pattern for all of these regular life topics. It's always gonna be some of the quotation marks that I explain. So it's gonna, oh no, pay special. Don't know. Let's get over it, of course. Insert topic here happens. Basically, this is when people essentially advocate complacency. I keep doing that. But essentially advocate complacency to justify their own bad habits. Like, it's usually a case of, well, I don't feel like hearing about this topic anymore, so therefore you should stop talking about it because I don't feel like hearing it. And this is what I'm talking about. I hate when people do this. I see this a lot on social networking. Of course, I'll apologize to anybody if I'm like getting on people's nerves with the whole, oh my god, you're talking about social network drama. Well, a lot of things that happen in social networking, like people do it in real life. Like a lot of dumb crap that people do on Facebook. Like, well, they basically kind of say the same bullshit in real life too. So really, it's not that big of a difference. Anyway, this is when people advocate. Like, for example, they could be sick of hearing about one topic, like, and this topic honestly ties back to a couple other videos I did, but I mentioned the first one I did for my first regular life genre rant. Some idiot on my Facebook I'm not friends with anymore because she's defending me because she's an idiot, and she saw that she wasn't winning the stupid argument she started on Facebook, but her mentality was, get over the resolved Trayvon Martin case. I'm tired of seeing people post statuses about it. And it's that kind of logic that pisses me off because a lot of times it comes down to, well, I don't want to hear about it because I have nothing to add in on the matter. And in my opinion, it's usually, if not always, the case of it's not a topic that's of or relating to me, so I don't care to hear about it. So they just basically have this mentality of, well, people can't talk about it because I'm sick of hearing it. I don't care if you're sick of hearing it. It's a topic that deserves. I mean, like, you can insert whatever issue is, like racism, cosplay was the previous video, racism in general in the case of Trayvon Martin, and honestly racist laws in the books, or technically speaking not racist, but they're meant specifically to disenfranchise one group of people, so therefore racist laws. And there's a bunch of other things where this applies to, but essentially getting sick of people talking about things because you don't want to hear it. Just because you don't want to hear about it because you have nothing to add into it, or it's not about you, doesn't justify being that annoying dumbass that's like, well, you shouldn't talk about it because I want to hear about it. Who gives a crap about what you don't want to hear about? It's a topic that needs to be talked about, wherever it may be. Let's stick with like racism in the law. I mean, yeah, racism in the law, just so I have a particular topic. Like, it needs to be talked about. And one part of bringing attention to an issue is advocating about the issue and speaking out about it in the first place. If nobody knows it's an issue, then how people are gonna know what to address and that there's anything to address in the first place? Like, you gotta talk about an issue first. Like, imagine if there was news reports, but you just never reported the news. They just kind of flashed the headliner, but never explained what the hell happened with the headline. Just all you had was the headline. Like, that wouldn't be the news. That wouldn't be anything. Like, you gotta explain the issue and talk about it. Keep talking about it as much as possible so people can understand what the issue is, why it's an issue, and possible solutions to that issue. Not to mention, in some cases, people are just ranting because they're so frustrated with the situation. Like the Trayvon Martin case verdict, people were really, really frustrated with the verdict of that case. So of course you're gonna have 1,000,000,001 statuses on all across social networking about people's frustration about it and how it was bullshit. It's not your place to be like, well, people can't talk about it because I'm sick of hearing it. Like, that doesn't make sense. So what if you're sick of hearing it? That's why it's called ignore people's news. Like, Facebook in particular, you can ignore people's news feeds. And pretty much every social networking thing honestly has something to that effect where either you ignore the news feed from a particular person, or you can ignore a particular topic, or like Tumblr, you have Tumblr Saver, you can ignore anything that's listed that falls under that particular subject area. Like, you can ignore it, and quite frankly, like, dude, it's social networking. You don't need to be on it all the time. You could just pick that time period as a time period you just don't pay attention to people. Like, I know personally, on Lyrian, I hated how people were so obsessed. On the Tumblr end was Homestuck. Like, I got sick of the Homestuck crap. It's between Homestuck and near, like, beginning, I'd say, like, when I was still in college, both Hatalia and Avatar, I was sick of hearing about it. Like, every other freaking thing on my Tumblr dashboard was Homestuck, Hatalia, or Avatar, or Doctor Who. It was so annoying. But all I would do was I would either unfollow the people who kept doing that, or I used Tumblr Saver to block anything from those things. On the Facebook end, what I would do is I would legit ignore the newsfeed from people like I don't give a crap about anything you have to say, but I don't necessarily need to defriend you. I just don't care about you talking about this. I'll just ignore the newsfeed. Like, Hoovians kill me. Like, I have one of my more popular, or one of my most commented articles on my blog is called "I Hate Fandoms," and I list the whole thing there. Actually, I'll put a link in the description when I'm done with this. You go read it there, where I just list all the fandoms I hate, and the reasons why I hate the fandom. I just hate fandoms in general because they're really, like, the annoying half of a fandom, because they're just really annoying, and they can kill whatever that subject matter is for you. And the Whovians killed Doctor Who for me, honestly. Like, I honestly love Doctor Who, but you can only hear a conversation about Doctor Who so many times before you're like, dude, seriously, can't you talk about other things? It's like Pokemon people. Oh, god damn if another Pokemon game is coming out, because literally it's like I just have to ignore Facebook for a while, because everybody's status is going to be Pokemon related. And literally in college, there were groups of friends I couldn't talk to because a Pokemon game just came out. And here I am, orphaned in the corner with my Pokemon Conquest. And everybody's like, Pokemon Black and White! Pokemon Black and White! Oh my god, Pokemon Black and White! You're like, dude, you're how old and you're getting how hyped about a Pokemon fucking game? Come on. Calm your bitch. Calm your But between Pokemon and Doctor Who, like, it was driving me insane. But it's like, you can't just sit there and just have a million one statuses of like, man, people should stop talking about it. Like, no, that's being just as stupid as the people who keep talking about it nonstop as if there's nothing else to talk about. You just could either you just stop going to using that social networking thing for a while until it dies down, or B, you just ignore people's newsfeed. Like, you just ignore it. If it annoys you that much, you ignore their newsfeed, or you ignore that social networking thing in general. In real life, you just don't talk to those people. I was getting sick of people talking about Pokemon. I just avoid those people. Like, you just avoid them, at least until... you just ignore them and avoid them until the hype dies down. Literally, like, the Pokemon people, when I was in college, like, I just had to just pretend that they didn't exist for legit, like, half a month, because all they would do and talk about is Pokemon. They would Pokemon at lunch, they Pokemon in the room, they Pokemon everywhere. At no point did they ever stop doing Pokemon. And it was so annoying and frustrating, because it's like, I can't talk to a group of friends now because they're just riding that dick of Pokemon. And Doctor Who fans were the worst, because legit there's several groups of friends, like, I couldn't talk to them with Doctor Who because all they would do was Doctor Who, and it's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'll see you guys when you get your head out of your ass. Like, I don't need to stay there and rain on the parade and be that annoying bitch. Like, you're just as annoying if you're like, well, why can't you guys talk about anything else? And you just won't remove yourself from situations. Like, you know that's what they're going to talk about. You're outnumbered. Just move on to a group of friends that aren't talking about that, or just avoid them altogether, and just, let this be some time for some me time, because you're sick of hearing about it. Don't just sit there and be like, well, people should stop talking about it. Like, no, just ignore the people talking about it. But, getting back to, like, and this all relates back to, like, when you don't, I mean, that's on the liar end, but getting back to the topic at hand, it's like, don't push for people just not doing something because you're sick of hearing it. Just accept that people are talking about it. At least understand at least understand why people are talking about it, and accept it, and move on. Don't just like, oh, well, people, the world needs to stop and bend to my will. I can't just adjust to the world. Like, that's bullshit. Just deal with it. Don't push for people to stop doing what they're doing because, oh, well, it offends or bothers you. Get over it. Let people do what they're doing and wait for it to die down. There's no reason to be a total bitch about it because, gosh darn it, if people aren't talking about you every 24-hour, every moment of every hour of the day. I know I phrased that in a weird way, but you get what I'm saying. Like, just deal with it. So, you know, I said enough about that because I'm starting to get to the point of just talking in circles. But basically, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. It's stupid. It makes you look like an asshole. I don't cuss when I'm right. I don't know if you knows that. Try to be understanding. That's the point. This is the point. Yo, don't do that. It's annoying. It makes you look like a total douchebag. Look like a narcissistic. I'm pretty sure I spelled this wrong. Yeah, narcissist. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not playing this game. How did I spell it wrong? One more S. Okay, it totally makes it look like a narcissistic douchebag. And the best thing to do is try to understand why people are talking about that and move along. Even if you don't understand why people are talking about it so much, like Doctor Who. Like I love Doctor Who, but I understand why it needs to be talked about all the time. But like, you know, you get over it and you move on. You just leave it alone. You don't push for like, well, don't do anything. In the more advocacy or more serious issues, you don't try to silence people because you don't want to hear it. Leave it alone. And that's my message with that. Avoid, repeating myself so much. So, getting back to the, I know I clicked the button. Social network stuff again. A WordPress blog, Facebook page. Subscribe to my WordPress blog. Follow my Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Tumblr. Granted, the WordPress blog is the main source. Again, the WordPress blog is the main source. Facebook page, Twitter, and Tumblr are basically all things that the WordPress blog populates. Very rarely do I post something, new to any of the. Facebook page, I'm more likely to post something original to just that. Twitter and Tumblr, they're populated by the other two. Again, subscribe to the Bitch Brigade today. Comment and like on this video. Rebuttal if you have other things. If you think is bullshit, and form your opinion in the debate type format where it's like you state your opinion academically, not like I think you're foolish. Like actually explain why you disagree with me. Or add into the matter if you have things to add in. Like my videos, definitely appreciate that, but not as much as if you subscribe to it. But liking is important too, and see you next video. Bye!